Hey, this is Veronica Wasek with 5-Minute Bookkeeping. I have been doing several videos recently talking about diagnosing your client's QuickBooks Online. And today I'm going to show you a simplified way that I use to review my client's QuickBooks. I call it the Smart Review. The Smart Review, at least for me, takes me about 15 minutes or so to go through and review my client's books. It might take you longer just because you're just getting started. I do use a condensed review checklist that you can actually get if you opt into my free virtual bookkeepers toolbox, and you'll get that information down below in the links. So here's my demo of how I do the Smart Review. First, we want to ensure that there are no old items in the bank feeds window. We'll go to banking. And for each account, we want to look at the transactions that have been downloaded from the bank to make sure that there aren't any old transactions for the month that we're working on. So we're just making sure we didn't forget anything. Next, we want to make sure that all bank and credit card accounts have been reconciled. You go to Accounting, Reconcile, click on Summary. And then you'll see for each account the last statement date that was reconciled and the date that was reconciled. Next, you want to ensure that there are no old uncleared transactions in the bank reconciliation window for each account. So we'll go ahead, and you can do this a couple of ways. One way is to look at the last reconciliation. And this is the reconciliation report. And we'll scroll down. Until you get to the section that says uncleared checks and payments as of the month end date. In this case, the reconciliation was done as of 12/31/2021, and we would be looking for any old transactions that are prior to this date. We actually can see here there are several old transactions. So these would need to be investigated to see why they are uncleared. Perhaps they're duplicates or incorrectly entered transactions. Next, you can review for transactions that are old balances in the undeposited funds account. To see what's in the undeposited funds account, click on the plus sign and select bank deposit. And here we are looking for old transactions. If you remember, we are reviewing this in our sample company as of 12/31/2021. And as you can see that we have several old transactions. So this is a problem. This means that there's something broken in the workflow here, and transactions are not being cleared out of the undeposited funds account. This is a very, very common mistake that business owners make with their QuickBooks when they're not trained properly. So all of these will need to be investigated and cleaned up. The next step is to review the profit and loss report for unusual or unexpected balances. From Reports, we'll select the profit and loss report. I'll run the report from December 1, 2021 through December 31st, 2021. This is the month that we reconciled and that we are now reviewing. So this is 1 month of activity. And then what you do is you review the accounts and the amounts to see what may look unusual or unexpected. You would review that. Here's a great example. There's uncategorized expense of negative $982.88. Anything that is uncategorized needs to be reviewed and categorized properly. I would also review these job materials, so presentation materials and software, to see why they're negative. There's probably something in there that's not entered correctly. Normally these are income accounts and shouldn't be negative. They should be positive, like this account here. Next, we want to review the balance sheet report for unusual or unexpected balances. From the reports menu, I'll select balance sheet, and I will also run it as of December 31, 2021, because we are reviewing as of that date in our sample company. And once again, we are reviewing for numbers that look out of place, large negative balances, unusual amounts, things that maybe look miscategorized. Here's a great example. We have a large negative balance in accounts receivable, and that needs to be reviewed. We have uncategorized asset. So remember what I told you, anything that is uncategorized needs to be reviewed and categorized properly. We have a large negative balance in accounts payable, also negative balances in the credit card accounts, also in the payroll liabilities account. So all of these amounts that look unusual and unexpected need to be reviewed and they need to be corrected. And we have a couple of additional steps in our review. We'll review the accounts receivable aging summary. So from reports, select accounts receivable aging summary and change the date to coincide with the month-end date that you are reviewing. Click Run Report. And you want to review the accounts receivable aging summary for any unusual items, old balances. Perhaps customer payments haven't been posted to those customer balances. Also look for negative amounts. These are signs of credit balances that haven't been applied to customer payments, and perhaps those need to be cleaned up. So you want to review all the balances for all of the customers and investigate any issues. And finally, we will review the accounts payable aging summary. I have it set here as a favorite, but if it's not listed in your QBO favorites, just look for it in the search field. Change the date, run report, and we're doing a very similar thing here. Just as we reviewed the accounts receivable aging summary, we'll do a very similar review for the accounts payable aging summary. And here we're looking for old balances. Perhaps there are some vendor bills that were entered and not ever marked as paid in QuickBooks. We're looking for negative balances that perhaps are a sign of unapplied vendor credits, or perhaps transactions that were incorrectly entered, and even vendor payments that were not applied to any vendor bills. And again, all of these have to be reviewed and cleaned up if you find any problems. Okay, so what did you think of the SMART review? Again, if you can get the checklist that I used to do my SMART review by opting into the free virtual bookkeepers toolbox, so get that link down below in the description. If you find this content helpful, then like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Veronica Wasek with 5 Minute Bookkeeping.